Well, good morning, everybody. It is the end of the year. It's our last show for 2021, and we're going to be talking today about the end of year reflections.
I'm Veronica Mendez, and we go live every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific.
And we're live here on Facebook and YouTube.
And this is Erin Garcia.
And I'm Aaron Garcia. So the end of the year show, we get a little rest. We've been running around trying to get everything ready for the last year. So if you want to join us on the show, we are live here on Facebook and YouTube. You can join us on our links on Facebook at Aaron and Veronica. On YouTube, you can go to aaronveronica.com and you can subscribe to our channel. And if you like today's video, give us a thumbs up, and you can also share this if you know that there's anybody that can benefit from the message today.
So click on getting the live notifications, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and that way you'll be notified of when we go live.
All right, before we kick in today's episode for the last of 2021, we always like to start off with a bit of inspiration with our inspirational moment with Veronica.
So inspirational moments is when I like to read something inspirational, and today I have a writing that I did after meditating. It says, "Thank you for being here with us. A lot of you have been going through some transitions. It can be uncomfortable at first, but it gets easier with time. Allow yourself to be in a quiet space so your mind can relax. There's always a lot going on everywhere and lots of distractions. Quiet the mind and ground yourself often. Go out into nature and feel the presence of the divine all around you. Listen to the voice within. Once you're in a calm mental state, what is it telling you? Breathe in the fresh air. Observe everything around you. How do you feel? Soak in the rays of light around you, filling your entire being. Allow yourself to be guided by the pure divine presence that is within all of us. See this divine presence anytime you interact with others. You are all connected. Seek us when you are wanting answers. There is nothing to worry about. Everything you want is already here. Allow yourself to receive it. Allow yourself to feel it. Know that you are never alone. You are always loved." And that's my inspirational moment for the day. And let us know what you thought about that. Put it in the comments. Give us a thumbs up if you like it. And yeah.
Yeah. And if you're joining us live here today and you'd love to chat with us, again, it's our last show of 2021. Please put your comments here. Let us know where you're coming in from. We'd love to hear from you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to put those here into the comments as well. And if you're also watching the replay, feel free to let us know what your thoughts are. Any questions, want to reach out to us, we'd love to hear from you as well. We will respond to all your comments after the show. We do have people joining in with us. We have Gil, who's joining with us, is ready for the new year.
Yes, we are.
Ready as ever. Whether we're ready or not, it's still coming. So here we go. And he says, really, really good to see you guys.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
And it says, good morning. So all in a row. So, yeah, thank you guys for joining with us, Gil. Good to see you here. Again, we are both live on YouTube and Facebook. Love to hear from you guys. And today we're talking about our end of year reflections. And what does that look like? Most people are looking at what are we going to do for the next year. They're setting their New Year's resolutions, their goals. But a lot of times, too, before we can even begin our goals, we always have to look back and look at what did we accomplish this past year or in years before, and what can we improve on for this next year? So a bit of a looking back at things that have happened, good or bad. How can we improve? How can we make things better? And what did we do well at the same time? And how can we cultivate that for this next year?
Yeah, it's kind of like taking inventory of like the end of the year. Okay, what do we have here? What are our profits and losses, kind of like when you run a business and that type of thing, but it's with your own personal self and looking back as to, like Aaron mentioned, what areas can I improve on? Because when you're looking at all your accomplishments, and we do accomplish a lot of things, but sometimes we don't give ourselves credit, and maybe because you didn't reach a certain goal, but that's okay. Like there's still a lot of things that have happened in the last couple years, and we've all had to learn how to do things differently, how to live life differently. So it's been a big transition, like my writing said, and we're all going through it. And yeah, give yourself credit for all the things that you've done, and even the little things.
Yeah. And so, what do you feel that you've really are really proud about yourself that you've accomplished this year? Let us know here into the comment feed. And I was thinking about this when you go back. I was like, wow, we've actually done a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's things that we could have done that we didn't do. But I was thinking, wow, like we just a few months ago completed a Spartan race.
Yeah.
And like, wow, like we had never done anything like that before. Some people had challenged us to it and asked us to do it with them, and we made that happen. Yes, it was challenging, but we did that. A few of the things is, we are part of our one of our businesses has increased. Doing cakes, we restarted to do this show on YouTube beginning of last year. It was around December, I think we started putting it on YouTube, and we took a few months off, but we restarted here again just a couple months ago, and our YouTube has been going pretty strong.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes, if you feel like you need a little break on something, then that's okay. Because sometimes you need to, maybe restructure a few things and then you can get back into the flow of it. But it's been great.
Absolutely. And so we have a few people that have been watching. Antonio Chavez says, "Thank you both for the positive words and vibes." Yeah, thank you
Oh, you're
for
welcome.
watching here.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in.
And that's what we're here to do is we set an intention to really just put out a message. And it really doesn't matter how many people are watching. We realize even if it's just one person's watching and gets the most benefit out of that, that was what was rewarding for us. And so that's why we continue to do that. And I found by doing these episodes, and we've been doing this for almost 4 years now, actually a little over 4 years.
Yeah.
And I find every time I do that, it lights me up. So it does something for me to share with you guys our lessons, our experiences, our knowledge, and things that we do for ourselves, our clients, and hopefully it helps you guys by tuning in.
Yeah. So, what are your New Year's resolutions or things that you have planned for the coming year? Have you gone that far or have you thought about it yet? But if you do have something and you want to share with us, put it in the comments. We'd love to hear what you have, coming up for you in the upcoming year. Or what are your New Year's plans?
Yeah, we're actually going to be last New Year's. We really didn't get to celebrate with anybody. We were in bed and we were under the weather throughout the holidays and Christmas. We ended up getting sick, and so
We weren't in bed. We were playing video games.
okay, we were in bed playing video game. We were quarantined in the house for a couple of weeks. We felt fine. We were making sure around that time. This is like the beginning of COVID year,
Yeah.
and so we wanted to make sure that we were good and everybody else is good. So we just quarantined our house and ourselves in the house, and we were fine a couple of days. We were doing so much better. Just like a headache, felt like a cold to us, but we took the time to rest because we were Christmas time. We were up late till like 3, 4 in the morning. We did that this year again because we were running around trying to get everything completed, gifts wrapped, food made, and we're still a little lack of sleep, or we're going to be making that up sometime this week, I hope.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on during the holidays, so make sure you get plenty of sleep and drink a lot of water because I've noticed with myself that sometimes I tend to not drink as much water as in the summertime. I don't know if it's because it's cold, but I like drinking ice water.
You mean
but-
wintertime?
Huh?
You mean wintertime?
No, in the summertime I drink more water than in the wintertime.
Okay, because you said it because it's cold.
Well,
It's just hot
yeah,
in
the
summer.
water's cold.
Oh, the water's cold. Got
Yeah.
it.
So I drink more during the summer, and I notice that I tend to kind of slack off a little bit during winter.
So there's a lot of different things that we can improve on, and so maybe this next year I'd like to take better care of my health. I would like to work on a business or a project that I've always wanted to work on. And maybe it's that you've started something this year and you want to improve on that for the next year. Is look at, okay, what skills did you learn? We have big visions. We teach people how to set big goals, big dreams for themselves, and realizing that, okay, this might take some time depending on what your goal and your vision is. And a lot of times, what do you need to learn? Do you need to learn some skills? You need to. Some people, they say that, like kids going into college. What do you want to do when you grow up? Or what do you want to do for your career? I don't know. I want to be a doctor, and so they can't just go out and get a job as a doctor right away. They have to go to school, and they have to take a few years to learn everything they need in order for them to get started in that career. So are you in that process? Are you learning some new things that can help you to move forward in this next year?
Yeah, and learning new things is great, for the brain, for the mind, because it it creates new neural pathways, and you're like, we're constantly learning. And it's like when you stop learning, it's kind of like you get bored, like you're doing the same routine over and over. So it's good to, in a sense, entertain your mind through learning. And it could be like Aaron mentioned, a new skill, just learning to cook something new, maybe try a new recipe, whatever you're into, arts and crafts, whatever it is. But yeah, they go ahead and do new things, and you feel like it just like expands you. It expands who you are and your being, and that's what we are because we're creators. So.
And the reason why we're talking today, and if you guys are just tuning in right now, you guys are watching Manifestation Mindset. I'm Dr. Aaron Garcia.
And I'm Veronica Mendez.
And we're talking about end of year reflections. And one of our teachers that we study from is Paramahansa Yogananda. And we've just over the years have just gravitated towards his teachings and his work. It's really helped us in our life. And one of the things he mentions, and a few other people out there talk about this concept of self-analysis, self-reflection. And that is, it's the key to self-mastery, because you have to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and see, what things do I need to improve on with myself? I set intentions, I set goals. How did I do? And we have to take that inventory of ourselves in order to see, where do we need to adjust? And that may not always be easy for people to look at themselves. Many people will just, you mentioned it earlier, they just run an automatic mode and just let their habits guide them, and they never sit down and take time to address, like, what is it that I want to improve on? What where can I adjust a few things? And if we can do that on a daily basis, then we can make a lot of progress. But we have to be able to stop and analyze ourselves once in a while in order to make that improvement. And that's what self-mastery is. And that's a big part of the process.
Yeah, and it's that awareness of, like, you're aware of what you need improvement on. You're aware of the things that you're doing, and it's just making the effort to create that change. Or if it's a habit you want to change, it's making the effort to change that habit into a good habit. And we all have things that we want to change and we want to improve on. And you're okay where you're at. Like, you've learned the things that you need to learn, and there's always more to learn. And it's like, don't be hard on yourself because you're not where you want to be. And that it's just like, enjoy that journey that's leading you up to your goal, or just this journey of life. And that's what life's about, is enjoying our journeys.
Yeah, and if you find that you're getting caught up in things that are going on around in the world, and it's so easy to see watch, read some articles, watch the news, and get bothered by things that other people are doing, getting bothered by what's happening around in the world. But if you allow that to take control of your emotional state, then it's like it's setting down the wrong path. And that's why you take time to reflect. Okay, how is this making me feel? Why do I feel this way? Because your emotions can take over. And if you don't learn how to take control of your emotions, then it can create all kinds of issues for you, whether it's in your health, it can mess up relationships, your career, your work. It doesn't matter. But when we learn to take control of our emotional states, and, okay, well, maybe this bothers me. What am I going to do about that? How am I going to allow this to make me feel? Am I going to allow other people to make me upset all the time? And how does that make me feel on a day-to-day basis? So one thing that we always work on is, how can we be in better control of our emotions when things show up? And the concept for us is, how can I be in just a high vibration, high positive state most of the time? I like to say all of the time, but it doesn't happen all of the time. There's times that we get upset, that things might bother us, but it's how long do we choose to stay in that emotional state? And each year that we do this and we practice with it, we get stronger, and then we can move on to the next lesson for the next year.
Yeah, and when you understand, like Aaron mentioned, when someone makes you upset, like, they don't really make you upset. It's like, we're choosing to be upset because of what someone else did or said. So when you get upset and stay in that yucky feeling for a long time, now you're allowing someone else to take control of your power, because it's someone else said something, someone else did something, and you're allowing yourself to be in this yucky feeling, and it's almost like they're taking your power away by being in that state. And the more you can just understand, like, okay, they have their own things going on, and maybe they're going through something, and if you can allow yourself to maybe be more like respond versus reacting, and respond in a more positive way, then it's really like you have control of your own power, your own emotions, and you're not allowing someone else to take that from you.
Yeah, and so maybe this next year is you want to look at, how could I improve my relationships with other people? Maybe there's somebody that you need to reach out to. And again, we talk about reflections, is take a look back at all the things you accomplished this year. I think a lot of people may look back and tend to look at, oh, I didn't do that. I didn't do that much. I could have done more, and they try to make it up for the next year. But a lot of people don't give themselves credit of all the things that they have accomplished. So you want to focus on what you have done, because that will motivate you to move on to the next year to do more things. Otherwise, if you keep looking back at all the things that you didn't do, then there's that feeling of regret,
Yeah.
guilt. People beat themselves up, and that sets them down into a very negative spiral, which we don't want to do. And so you want to be able to look at, okay, what did I accomplish and what can I improve on? And it's kind of like that when we were in Toastmasters years ago, and there was this concept in the meetings where someone's going to give their speech for the day, and then they have an evaluator. And the role of the evaluator was to let them know, like, how did they do, and what areas can they improve on in their speech to make them better for the future. And there's always that concept of tell them, what they did very well, and then tell them not what they did wrong, but what areas could they improve on, and then finish off with something that they did well. It's like that's that compliment sandwich. And we have to give ourselves that compliment sandwiches. I like sandwiches, and give yourself that compliment sandwich so that way you always focus on the positive and not put too much on the negative.
Yeah, and it's looking at things in a positive way versus a negative way, because if you're looking for flaws in everyone and everything, you're only going to see that. And if you look at all the positive things that are around you, the good that someone does, then you feel more happy. They feel more happy when you give them a compliment. So it's really being in that good energy while you're doing this, because if you're in a bad mental state already, and then you're trying to look at the reflection of the year, then that's probably not the right time to do that. So make sure you're in a good vibration, you're feeling good, and then go and reflect, and okay, I accomplished this and that, and then that way the improvements you're not going to beat yourself up over it. You're going to look at it as a constructive criticism type of thing.
Yeah, and these are experiences that we even go through ourselves. And when I look back and reflect on this past year, and we're finishing up 2021, is there was moments where we hadn't done the show for. I think we took a break in February because we did so much, and it felt like we just needed a break at the time. And a few months had went by, and there was times where I was just in a mental funk for like a couple months, and there's times I felt good, but it's like I would kind of have like these up and down swings. And again, the same concept of looking at the things that maybe I wasn't accomplishing or doing, and I started to see some old patterns show up. And that was my opportunity to really work through that. What was going on with me? Because it doesn't matter where you are, what level of success you are. We're all equal people. We all go through things. Even someone can have a smile on their face, and you never know what might be going on the inside. And so for me, there's I felt some stuff going on the inside, and Veronica was helping me through this, and I started to uncover some things that I had not worked through yet, and that's what personal growth is. And I realized that I was looking at all the things that were going on around me and allowing that to really affect my emotional state, and I realized that, well, okay, I had to work on something with me and what's coming up for me, and we worked through a few things, and I find that eventually I started to just my spirit lifted up, and I started to feel better. Those things that were bothering me in the past are not they don't bother me anymore, and that's always been our growth pattern for this past over a couple of decades doing this now, is like things that when we work through stuff and we release things in the past that used to be, the things that used to drive us, that used to really bother us when something would happen and trigger us. It's like it's not existent anymore, and I can move on without feeling that heaviness anymore.
Yeah.
And so I've accomplished a lot. Really, hey, I just worked through a whole new layer this year. What's up next year?
So we have a question by Gil. He says, "Are you bringing back your friend, the numerologist, for this year?"
We haven't talked anything about that.
Yeah.
In fact, we haven't talked in a while. If it's in the numbers, maybe we will.
We could bring him on as a special guest, or we have, since we used to do the show with him, we actually purchased a lot of numerology books. So maybe we can do a special where we do our interpretation of what's coming up for the next year, because we have tons of books on numerology. So
Great. We definitely need some content. We have some more content for this next year coming up for you guys. But yeah, we really enjoyed doing the numerology.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah, maybe we could reach out and have him as a special guest.
Yeah. He says, "Good answer, good answer." Absolutely. and so, we're talking about the end of year reflections and look at all the things that we've accomplished in this past year. Even if you feel like maybe you didn't accomplish enough, because you never will accomplish everything.
No.
But what did you accomplish? Even if it's one or two things, be proud of yourself for that. Because, if you could accomplish one thing, you can accomplish more. But you have to set your intention. It does take some patience. It takes some work to get that done, whatever that might be. But look at all the projects you've done. Look at all the people that you've met this year, relationships that were built. Maybe sometimes there's been transitions too. And a lot of times we might look at those transitions as very negative and not a good time in our life. But a lot of times afterwards, we find like, wow, that needed to happen. And that was important for this year. Maybe that was your lesson that, Spirit said, okay, in this year, you might be going through something. And so because next year, once you move through that, you're going to come out much better.
Yeah, it's like in the writing that I read earlier, it's like when you're going through a transition, it's going to be uncomfortable because it's a change. And sometimes it doesn't feel good in the moment, but once you get past it, it does get easier. And then when you reflect and you get, you look back, it's, you look and you're like, wow, like if that wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't be here where I am today. And sometimes we need like a little shakeup in order to make a big change. And then once you go through that change, you're like, wow, like I'm so glad that happened. Mm-hmm. But in the moment, it feels like the world's falling apart, but it's not. It's just change and a transition. But if you can embrace change and embrace those transitions, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, and, there's people that are ending relationships and maybe divorcing. Maybe they're in a really very nasty, bad relationship, and splitting that up might be a really challenging time for them. But we went through this with a family member a couple of years ago, and they're doing so much better now. But in that time, it was very hard for them. Mm-hmm. And so, but they're doing very well right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So, love to hear what you guys have planned coming for this next year. We hope you had a great Christmas.
Yeah.
We got, we were running around. I think we had 3 Christmases?
Something like that.
Running around. We finished our last one last night. And for us, usually Christmas trickles in a little bit because with shipping and everything, stuff wants to come in January. So our daughter loves that, where she gets to have like extended Christmas, like sporadically throughout the month of January.
Yeah, I think it was last year. I had like gifts that didn't come in on time. So she had Christmas gifts coming in like January, February, I think up until her birthday, until April.
I think she got so used to it. Like she really expects that now and enjoys that. I mean, who doesn't like extended Christmas?
Yeah. It's like a surprise when she comes by, and then it's like, oh, you have a gift. Oh.
And so we're in the last week. Then the end of this week is the new year. And we hope you guys stay safe, that you guys really embrace this next year coming up. It's 2022. It's a lot of twos. Mm-hmm. Talk about numerology, a lot of twos.
We should do that, Gil. What does 2022 have in store for us? Because it is a lot of twos. I think that's the 2 is like others, like it's not single anymore because now it's 2. So it's
It's all about others.
And
There's that feminine energy that comes from the two. It's like the masculine and feminine part of all of us, and that the feminine part of us is the feeling part that we all have. And so this could be a good time for us really to work on our emotional states, our own well-being. It's like how can we create and feel more joy and happiness as often as we can, because when we're in those highly vibration emotional states, we attract better things into our life. The universe just wants to reward us for, hey, thank you for being so happy and so loving. But when we're in a very negative state, it's like, we'll wait to give it to you, or we'll give you this instead because that's what you'll appreciate right now until you can be happy. And so there's always these learning lessons that we have to go through, and it's just been, when I look at it and reflect, I am grateful for those learning moments. It's not so much always a positive. I am grateful for the challenging experiences because it's helped me to grow, and they help all of us to grow.
Yeah, and even that challenging person that gives you a hard time, those are the people that really help you to grow, because in that moment when you're going through stuff at first, it probably doesn't feel good, and you're frustrated, but they are the ones that really help you to grow.
Absolutely. So we really appreciate you guys joining here with us today on the show. This is, again, Manifestation Mindset, our last show for 2021. And we have some things coming up for you guys here in the next year, 2022, which adds up to the number 6. Yeah. And 6 is all about family, connections, and being together. And so, we'll see what's going to come from that. We'll do our own numbers on the year and share that with you guys here on a future episode. So make sure you stay tuned.
Yeah, so we hope you've had a great year, 2021, and we look forward to seeing you next year in 2022.
And to make sure you guys join us in 2022, make sure that you go to our channels, and you can see the links down here. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube. On Facebook, at Aaron and Veronica, you can find us. And on YouTube, you go to our channel, and make sure that you, on our videos, give us a thumbs up. And you can subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you guys subscribe. And if you want to have live notifications, just hit that little bell icon on Facebook and YouTube to be reminded when we go live. And if you find that this message can help anybody, please share the show. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, so we will be here Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific, and we hope to see you next year. Have a great day.
We will see you next year. All right, guys. Enjoy. Stay safe. Have fun.
Happy New Year.
Bye. Happy New Year.